Hello everyone, this is Carrie Kaufman, and today I am excited to interview a former client of mine. And the reason he's a former client of mine is because he set a goal a handful of years ago to build his business to sell it, and that's exactly what he did. So today, Joe Caro is going to be sharing with us some of the key shifts that he made once he decided to take his business from just trying to optimize it and grow it to run it himself versus when he wanted to build it to sell it. So what were the key shifts that he had to make? So you'll leave with at least a couple of good ideas that you could implement to your business right away, regardless of if you want to sell it or you just want it to run more smoothly without you. So if you're a business owner, you're really going to enjoy this video. So make sure that you like it, that you share your comments with us, or depending where you're watching this, connect with us or subscribe to the channel, and we will get right in. So Joe, give us a little bit of your story. Like, you were an owner operator in your business for several years, and then you made a decision that you wanted a different outcome. So tell us a little bit about how you got to that decision point.
Well, first of all, thank you for interviewing me. This is such an honor. Getting right into it, I was always scared to grow the business beyond what I thought it could be, because literally beforehand I wasn't really successful with other businesses. So in the beginning, I was owner operator because I just think that it was my fear of growing beyond what I felt I can do. So I had a lot of head trash about my failures and things like that. But when I found out that being an owner-operator is a lot more challenging than actually going and working for somebody, I started to have a little bit of a mental shift, especially when my wife would ask me questions like, oh, you have to go out and do a job again, or stuff like that. So I was too afraid to ask for help. And my wife was basically like, look, you're going to need to get some help. So we were actually part of a chamber. Her brother actually was a client of coaching, and literally the way my wife set it up was like, hey, we scheduled an appointment with this fantastic business coach, which happened to be the awesome Carrie Kaufman. And I just remember being so nervous coming into it, like, this lady is staring me down and going to pick me apart.
Would I do that?
Obviously, but again, that's my head trash. I struggle with a little bit of pride, probably. But the thing is that I knew I needed help. Now, when I got the help, that wasn't the point where I thought I needed to sell my business. I'm pretty sure you remember I had these wild ideas of, I'm going to have 50 locations and franchises. And, you just kind of like shook your head, okay, we're going to go in that direction. But when I actually chose to sell the business was when I saw that I could actually literally build my business to become an asset. Right. So it wasn't like I'm going to sell it and let it go. I'm like, well, either I could sell it or I could just let it run without me and I can still make money. The beautiful part about that is when I actually built it to that, I had buyers knocking on my door without even me putting the business up for sale. So that was kind of like God or the universe or whatever anybody believes out there telling me that, hey, you're going to sell your business.
So when you started on that journey, you're like, either I'll sell it or I'll keep it, but it'll be more passive. It'll run really smooth, with or without you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So how did that shift? Like, once you made that commitment, you wanted to build a business that worked without you, right? So you could keep it or so you could sell it. Yes. How did that shift how you approached your business or how you decided on what your priorities would be compared to when you viewed it as an owner-operator?
Well, 100% of my business basically shifted because as an owner-operator, I'm doing everything on my own. So number one, the first thing that we did was we need to hire somebody, right? I need help. My wife needs to get out of the office, which was in our home, by the way. And we had a nursing baby and she's answering phone calls. We were like, everything needs to change. But we started prioritizing what we needed. So we had systems in place, but they're all in my brain. So the first thing we did was, if we want somebody that we can hire and train, we need to basically write out a duplicatable training system. So we started with the systems. Everything in my brain went on a piece of paper. The cool thing is your advice to me was, there's a lot in there, so start off with the table of contents. Yeah. That was literally the turning point. I was like, oh, it's that simple. I wrote a table of contents, and once a week or twice a week, if I had time, I just knocked one out, right? And that whole manual evolved eventually, but I started with the basics. Then we were having a hard time hiring somebody, so we implemented a system to where we were basically created our business to be attractive to the right person instead of trying to find the right person. Our business had to become attractive to the right person.
Distinction.
Yes. And again,
the place
that's
that attracts A players is quite the different mentality from what a lot of businesses have.
Absolutely. And then we're sitting here like, well, we have no team. We have a home office. How are we going to become attractive? Well, there's a lot of ways you can become attractive, and there's a lot of people looking for the opportunity you're going to give them. The question is, how are you going to attract them? And so that's basically the shift that we had. And then we got into, our numbers. Again, as owner-operator, our personal finances was mixed up with our business finances. It was an organized chaos, Coach. You remember that. It was an organized chaos. We were just comfortable with the chaos, so it was okay at the moment. But yeah, we systems, hiring, our numbers, and then eventually we got into contracts because we found out that that's literally what buyers are looking for, the residual part of your business. Okay. And when we built a great team, I'm like, I can't lose them. Nobody's going to want to buy a business where they're going to lose the team right away. Yeah. So I honed in on our company culture. The last 2 years everything was about culture, about getting the right team players. A players attract A players. So let's get that. That's really what we did.
Awesome. So you kind of touched on this already, but what do you think were the critical drivers of the valuation? Because you got a pretty spectacular valuation on the business. So you mentioned contracts. Anything else in particular that you found? I guess it could be different from industry to industry with what really drives value, but what did you find that was most impactful for the buyers who pursued you?
Yes, so the buyers, from my experience, they were looking at a lot, right? So number one, are our numbers clean? Look, guys, cross your T's, dot your I's. Stop trying to get creative. Just log everything the way it's supposed to be and make sure it's clean. Make sure your P&Ls are great. They literally, our P&Ls were picked apart by every single buyer, by the evaluator, by their lawyers, things like that. Have clear and duplicatable systems, okay? Everything that you do needs to be logged somewhere to where it's like, hey, we brought on a new person. We need to train. Great. Study this manual. It literally needs to be that simple. If you look at the fast food model, every single franchise, they literally have a training manual where they tell you how to answer a phone, how to dress, how to cook the French fries or whatever it is, right? Contracts are huge. If they see that there's money coming in every single year or on a frequent basis from the same client, they're going to like that because they're buying into that investment. And then the last thing is your players, your managers, your team players, things like that. Work on your culture. Find people that are going to stick with you and actually be not just an employee, but a team player that's actually going to make you look good.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the areas where it was spot on for us, and that's what the evaluators were looking at too.
That makes a lot of sense. In your case in particular, your business did not sell to somebody who was already an expert in your industry. It was more of a strategic purchase, an extension complementary business, but not just a straight addition. So they needed the business to be able to run and almost train the new owners how to run it, because you weren't selling it to somebody who already knew and could come in and just do the whole thing on their own, right? So that ability that you had a business that was run by systems with good people, that it could, even if you stepped out of it, it could keep going. Yeah. So that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In hindsight, what are any lessons learned, or just something that you might kind of forewarn another business owner of, something to be on the lookout for or a pitfall to avoid?
I think I touched on it. Your numbers need to be clean. I know a lot of business owners out there always trying to get creative with their numbers, trying to show less profit so that way they can, get less tax and things like that. And although there's appropriate times for that, as long as it's legal, I'll never ever vouch for anything illegal or unethical. When you want to sell your business, you want to look as profitable as can be, because whoever's buying it is going to make that purchase based off of the profit that's already come in. those will be their payments. Most likely, they're going to get a loan. They're going to buy your business. So if you have a lot of profit coming in, it's going to be attractive because, for example, if the payment for that loan is going to be $10,000 a month, but you're profiting, your net profit is $40,000 a month, there's wiggle room for them to make that payment.
Yeah.
And they're going to make money at the same time. So that's one pitfall I see. The other pitfall is just systems. Systems drive your business. So make sure your systems are flawless. And the reason why I say that is your systems always have to evolve with your business. The systems I had when I was a owner operator would have never been okay with the team that I had before I sold it. So always look back at your systems and make it better.
Yeah.
And make sure that it works for your business.
They're not a set it and forget it type of a thing. Systems have to evolve and grow. I don't remember who I heard say this, so I'm not giving proper credit, but somebody I heard, I think at a conference I attended one time, said, when you double your business, you break half of everything, meaning half the people and half the systems. And your business did, like it, doubled multiple times. So you've got to continually evolve the systems, because the ones that made sense when you were teeny tiny, just you outgrow them, right? And they've got to evolve with the business. That's really good advice.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Any other final thoughts or advice that you would have for a business who has already an established business that's maybe doing quite well, but they're kind of where you were a few years ago, and they want to make a decision that I don't just want to build myself a good job anymore. I actually do want to build something that can work without me, or something that I could sell. Any final thought or tip for somebody who might be in that position, how to get started?
Yes. Get help and just do it. Once you made that decision on, okay, I'm tired of where I'm at. I'm tired of doing everything on my own, and I really need to build my business into an asset, meaning, hey, it can make me money and I don't have to be there, or I can sell it. Just get help and do it. You've already made up your mind. A lot of times I find this, Coach, you find this with a lot of clients, our head trash holds us back from actually going forward. We know what we want. It's just a matter of, are you willing to get up there and go and do it? So I think the biggest hurdle is just going out and finding out how to do it. It's a lot easier than we thought, than people think. It's a lot easier. Is it complicated? Yes, at times. Will you run into challenges? Absolutely. Nothing's going to come that easy. Selling your business is not going to come that easy. And this is the second point. Selling your business is not like selling a house. It doesn't happen in 30 days. So be prepared for that. So once you say, okay, I'm going to build my business to where it can be sellable, also think that you probably need 4 to 6 months to market your business, to negotiate contracts, to go through escrow. It's not like selling a house. So give yourself an honest amount of time to get it done. And you can't take your eye off the ball in that process. I did have a client a few years ago who was attempting to sell their business. Through that journey, really became a huge distraction. Actually, the process of selling the business became the new business, right? It took all their time and attention, where the business itself started to suffer. Well, that deal fell apart, and now the business is in disarray. Right. So maybe it wasn't ready to sell in the first place because it wasn't running as smoothly as they thought it was. But it also was mentally and emotionally all consuming, too consuming, that I think because they weren't prepared to go through that process. So that's really great advice on mentally preparing for how long it's going to take and what's going to be involved in that to get it over the finish line with everybody in one piece. So. Absolutely. And I remember a statement you told me when I first went on this journey. You said, Joe, just make sure you don't get too distracted to where your business suffers because now you're selling it. And I remembered that because the first 2 months I got distracted, and you saw that. You're like, hey, are you okay? And I just remember that. And that became very real to me. Like, oh man, I could lose my business trying to sell it. Yeah. So you really got to be, okay, this is how long it's going to take. It's an emotional roller coaster. And don't tell anybody on your team that you're selling it. No. You don't want them jumping ship. Do not tell them. No, this actually worked out great for your team members. They had great opportunities that came along with this. So it was really a win-win for you, for the buyer, for the team, for even the clients going forward. So all in all, a really great story. And now you started another business that you've actually been at for a little while as an action coach, right? Working alongside me to
people to do what you've just done. People who want to build their businesses more profitably. That's what both of us do now, which is some of the most fun, rewarding work we could do. So reach out to one of us if we can help you with anything. And thanks, Joe, for your time and for sharing your wisdom with everybody today. And thanks for watching, everyone. Look forward to connecting.
All right, thank you. See you later.